Ay ebs minyaday oduday alalas alagali adabongo omnigeras rumnimir riendanab sibotay sinsimin dondoday sindandain dobitay dinagur lenchatay itat erasatay irabui ofinchebr ebrado.
Hello, this is Maribu Nakila, English WPC's special edition program. I'll be staying with Mundoyu Adam. Mundoyu is a program coordinator at Jara and Juru Foundation. Mundoyu, thank you for your time. It's good to have you again on WPC.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming me.
Mundoyu, last time you gave us a little bit background about the youth outreach program you're working on. Mm-hmm. Can you today we will discuss more in detail about the program or what you are currently working on, the goal of the program, the objective of the program, and the target groups, why you're targeting this group, especially the youth, the Oromo youth in the diaspora. So can you talk about a little bit about this outreach program?
Yeah. So the program that I'm a part of right now is called HIRPA International. It's spelled HIRPHA. It's basically an Oromo Student Youth Outreach program, specifically tailored towards college students. If we had a specific emphasis, it could be all the colleges in general, but the colleges that were of focus would have been the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, University of Minnesota Duluth, and University of Mankato State University down in Mankato, mainly emphasizing on Oromo students in terms of youth engagement. That could encompass everything, and I think we'll talk more about that later.
Thank you very much. Why you're targeting only the Oromo students? Why the youth?
Yeah, just there's already so many other programs essentially for Somali students, Hmong students, any diaspora community students. Have these other organizations have met the need that they see fit to meet essentially within these youth in terms of mental health awareness, youth engagement, scholarships, internships, just overall just helping nurture development. Essentially, I think the state likes to encourage youth development and stuff like that. So there's programs available like that, and we basically applied for that, and it was able to be successfully approved. So,
what do you want to achieve, especially by targeting this group of people or users?
Yeah, to start off, it's kind of open-ended. It can be many different aspects. It can even be something as different as more engagement with the government in terms of acknowledging community representation, maybe even talking with some of the state members or doing stuff in terms of community outreach and stuff like that. Or it could also be more transitional, like volunteering or internships or helping in terms of networking, in terms of getting your first job out of college or what your future plans are too. So.
Are you already reached out to some students?
Yeah, we're working currently on a list of students that we want to engage with. Usually this would be in the route of contacting Oromo Student Union member at any of these colleges, and then coordinating through their presidents and trying to get a contact list like that right now. We're at about 30-ish students right now on the list, but we're trying to get more students on that list. I know I'm a little bit older, so I don't know all of the younger kids. So
you're still young.
Yeah,
you're still young.
Reach out and stuff too.
So let's go a little bit deeper. What are the strategies you are using to engage them?
Yeah,
what type of tools are you using?
Yeah, it could be anything. Right now, one of the things I tried to do was to start a group chat in terms of just adding people to that list as a method of reaching as a point of contact with them. It could be through other engagement activities. I know you were at the July 4th picnic, essentially, and they were also there reaching out in terms of that. Anytimes we have community out gatherings, reaching out like that. It's been a little difficult of a transition, essentially, because in order to create the list, you have to get everybody on that. But it's coming together pretty quickly, especially if I can get the communication set up with the group chat. So yeah.
My next question will be how can like non-profit organizations build relationship with these students?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of volunteer opportunities and community engagement projects that are within these schools themselves. I know a lot of different organizations sponsor them. Some organizations like OSU or other organizations on the campus of the University of Minnesota specifically have volunteering projects that they do and engage in through those routes themselves. But I think with that, it reflects really well in terms of community engagement, building up the community, helping around. It could be something like the Big Brother program, where they chaperone and mentor younger kids. It could be something along the lines of tutoring or anything like that as well. It could be community gardening. It's just any kind of activity that supports basic community development in that kind of route.
How does involvement in nonprofit work benefit you personally, socially, and professionally?
Yeah, there's many different benefits essentially. So first, to start off, essentially you're helping the community develop in some sort of way, especially like the program that I mentioned earlier, youth mentorship, where you're chaperoning the younger kids or even tutoring them. You're almost symbolically developing a good relationship with the youth that could help them develop later on, bring their interest into reading, or help them engage in some way where you're helping them out later on. Along with that, some of the parts of being a part of this organization allows a networking availability in terms of interacting with the peers that you have within this kind of organization, getting to know other people. It could lead into other organizations that you might join later on, or even work opportunities where they say they know a job or can provide references as well as that. And then another thing to note as well is it's good for the heart, essentially. Sometimes people don't have the opportunities to reflectively help the people, even if they have that desire. They don't have these kind of set up organizations where they can achieve those certain kind of activities. So it always kind of makes people happy in a sense of just giving back to the community.
Nice. Can you give us some nonprofit outreach programs that impacted youth?
Yeah. So essentially, I'll just reflect it off of mine. So in the process of the project that we worked on with the Jaro Foundation, with the delivering medical supplies over there, we had a whole entire youth volunteer organization that we had set up there, essentially to help with all the little project aspects, such as container delivery, managing of just logistics in terms of moving everything around. Anytime we did projects or events or anything, like, they would help us around. Also just promotional, wearing our shirts, wearing the hat, spreading the word, just moving around the community to essentially help us. And this was all done out of the kindness of their heart from over there. I know a lot of times, even back home, they don't really have a real description for like volunteering or just working in general, sense of just carefree as they do in this country. But it was really nice to see how active or like engaged the youth community was over there. They were so willing to help, and they did anything that they could in terms of wanting to work on the project itself too.
Can you also give us some examples about opportunities for the youth who are, who are participating in this program, in this outreach program?
Yeah. So something we're trying to set up right now is a youth capital tour, essentially where we bring youth to the Capitol to visit and meet up with congressional member or state members, state rep members, and have a more engaging activity in terms of local governance, specifically related at the state level, and just understand that there's a lot of opportunities in terms of just making sure your voice is heard. A lot of times people don't even consider writing to their congressmen or talking with their state reps in terms of what they want to advocate for. But it's very important in terms of how these policies shape out to be in the future. And it will help them get a little bit better understanding of the government and politics itself too. So that's one thing we're trying to engage in. Apart from that, to really trying to focus in on networking and curating a broad network of people to pull in together of like-minded individuals in terms of if that can change their overall impact. I know a lot of people are in these companies or organizations that can pull people in. They're always looking for references and stuff. So it's always good to link in people that can connect together and then help them in terms of their developmental transition coming out of college. Because I know it can be a little bit tough getting that first job and moving on, transitioning.
Nice. Can you also discuss the challenges that, nonprofit organizations encounter when they engage underserved, diverse youth, like the Oromo and other? Yeah.
So there's a multitude of difficulties. Especially the first one is just to start off an organization. If you don't have that set up infrastructure of like what this organization is, it's hard to tell which direction it's going to definitely go in, because we're still open-ended in terms of the ideas that we can play out. There's also the side part of lack of funding or resources in order to set up these projects and organizations. It's just hard in that aspect because it's always going to be limited. And then also the lack of trust in us. Not many people know of our organization. We're kind of in the infancy stage of where we're trying to set up to what we want to be in the future. So just making sure we have the transparency and being like culturally aware of what we're trying to do and not making false promises and stuff too, because it's hard to build trust, especially in that first segment of the organization starting out.
Do you have any final points that wraps up the whole discussion?
Yeah, I know a lot of times coming out of it in youth, they're already so stressed with so many different things that are going on in their lives, friends, school, trying to go on vacations or touring or doing any of these other things that they're concerned about. I know it's very tough because it's always something that you got to do, and it's just adding more stuff to the list. But I would say from the aspect of doing stuff like this, which is more food for the soul, for lack of a better term, like this is essentially a project where you don't require anything out of it in return. You're just doing it out of the good of your nature. I know a lot of times with the volunteer efforts that we were trying to push forward in Ethiopia, a lot of the work that we were doing over there, nothing's paid or nothing. We're doing all this at the goodness of our heart, but essentially you get paid by the way that the work makes you feel. And by doing stuff like this, it'll make you feel good in terms of being rewarded in the soul. And I can look back at that opportunity and just say that, yeah, I loved doing this every moment, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, essentially. So looking out at it, just always try and engage in these small aspects. I know a lot of times Sometimes it's just people don't see these opportunities come up, and that's just essentially why they can't do them. But if it's ever an opportunity available to do something small and good just like this, I would encourage people to do it.